video is brought to you by Avid Armor. Avid Armor makes high-quality vacuum sealers that are perfect for keeping your wild game meat fresher for longer. I use mine for wild mushrooms, fresh produce, and so much more. If you're interested in learning more, there's a link in the description box down below. In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step process on how to remove the blade roast from your deer. Blade roasts make for a super tasty pot roast, so when you're ready to cook, you can head to my pot roast video for a step-by-step tutorial on how to cook your blade roast to perfection. Let's get to butchering. This is a whitetail deer we harvested here in Pennsylvania. I've already hung it up and skinned it, and now I'm ready to remove the first front leg from the deer. Our beautiful blade roast can be found right here. First step is to push the leg away from the body with one hand and cut the white web-like connective tissue that stretches in between. There aren't any joints that hold the shoulder onto the body, so this removal process is super simple. After you've cut through the majority of the connective tissue, you'll need to start cutting through the muscle. It can help to feel with your hands to locate where the shoulder blade bone is and push the leg around to further visualize where you need to cut. We're going to cut through the muscle and fat right around where we can feel the shoulder blade end. There isn't a distinct line or separation of muscle groups to guide you here, so you really have to go off of feel. And the good news is there isn't much you can do to mess this up. Just be careful around the top of the back where the back straps are. If you cut too deep here, you'll leave some unnecessary nicks on the back strap. Now that the shoulder is freed from the body, let's do some additional cleanup. There's a large chunk of fat on the front of the shoulder that you'll want to cut away and discard. This chunk of fat actually holds a gland or lymph node, so it's important to remove it all in one piece. You can actually help coax some of the blood out of the veins by pushing with your hands and then patting it dry with paper towels. Now let's remove the lower portion of the leg. Start by bending the leg back and forth to help you locate where the two bones meet at the joint. Once you feel the thin, soft space between the two bones, cut with your knife straight through it and continue that cut all of the way around. It can help to use a little leverage here to help pop the joint open. I kept the front quarter on ice like this overnight and began butchering the next day. It's time to clean up this blade roast. We need to make 2 cuts to create our blade roast, one at each joint. Starting with the bottom joint, you'll use the same method as earlier to help you locate the joint. There's a bony process on the elbow that can make this tricky. If you try to cut it from the bottom like I did, you'll quickly realize it's much easier to go from the top. I think this highlights the point that as you're trying to cut through these joints, if you accidentally cut high or low, it's no big deal. Just keep working at it and the end product is still going to be the same. Once you've worked the leg off, set it aside for later. Next, we need to remove the middle portion of the leg. This joint is much easier to get through. Start again by bending the leg to help you locate the joint. Make a cut straight through and continue that cut through the muscle groups surrounding it. I'm switching to a heavier butcher knife to make a clean, straight cut through the muscles. All of the knives I've been using today are by Cold Steel and can be found on midwayusa.com. Set that middle cut aside and we'll clean it up later. Now we have our beautiful blade roast ready to be trimmed. I'm using my boning knife to remove all of the fat. The fat is this hard, white, and waxy stuff. It doesn't keep well in the freezer and can cause some funky flavors, so we want to take our time to remove it all. Now don't worry about any of the silver skin. The silver skin is this smooth, almost translucent connective tissue that's found on top of some of the muscles. The silver skin has no effect on flavor and it will break down beautifully when we cook our blade roast. Now it's time to package our meat for the freezer. I like to use my Avid Armor vacuum sealer to help keep my meat as fresh as possible for as long as possible. Make sure to leave enough headroom on the bag so that the sealer can do its job of removing the air and sealing it up tight. I like to write the date, cut of meat, and animal harvested on the bag. And just like that, you've successfully butchered a blade roast. In the next video, I'll show you how to cook up this blade roast with one of my favorite slow cooker venison recipes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.